May the blessings of the Lord be with you, rest upon you. And thank you again for joining me at this particular time of our seasons upon the earth and all that is going on. I'm so excited because I know that God has plans for every one of us. And I'm sure that anyone that trusts in the Lord, He will see you through. He will pull you through. He has been with us and He has taught us and He has always been there. From generation to generation, He is God. Now, let me get back to what I have previously spoken about, the nursing mother. And I said, when you nurse your child, as you are nursing that child, you are bringing that child up to the place where the child is being connected to generation of what the child ought to fulfill. Like Psalms 82 verse 1 says that the Lord is in the midst of the mighty generation. And so there is a mighty generation that is coming out of this great awakening, of this great season of great revival, this great season of great outburst, this great season of great shift upon earth, this season of changes that are beyond any human being, changes that no one planned for. But in this season, there are children that the Lord is bringing through certain wombs, certain families, and they are going to be nursed and raised up. And so right now, some of them are small, some of them are in the womb, some of them are yet to even be conceived. There is a generation that consciously certain mothers, young mothers, elderly mothers need to help the midwife. Young mothers need to understand what the Lord is doing with them, so that if you are going through any kind of challenges in your relationship with your husband or your relationship with in-laws, or relationship with even with those around you, or even with yourself, you will know that you are fighting the good fight of faith. Don't throw off the towel. Don't throw off the baby with the bath water. Don't throw away the baby with the placenta. No, you need to look at what divine hand is doing in your life. It's such a great blessing for one to have a child that is coming out of your body, and you can hold that child and look at the child. And you keep smiling because you'll be wondering, oh, this child is from my body. That is the creative power of God at work in the womb of the female. And that's why the woman, you are a co-worker, a co-laborer with God. And your husband is there because the Lord has deemed it fit that you should make him a father. He is making you a mother and you are making him a father through the hand of the Lord. If the Lord does not open the womb and give you a blessing, give you the fruit of the womb, you will still cry and be longing for, because it's something that is innate in every human being. There is a cry that you need to hear, a cry of a child. You know, I watched a war film some years ago, and in that war film, a woman was pregnant, and her country was the one under attack. And so she was running for her life with some of her brothers and sisters and husband and all that. And the war has been there for quite a long time. And so they've not had a cry of a baby. Then she had to come to the point of delivery. And as the baby came forth, just the cry of that infant made even all the enemy soldiers and military and all that to be at a standstill. Because it's been long that they could hear a voice, a cry of an innocent child. That brought a standstill and a quietness, and made them to retreat and allow that woman to live and the baby. The sound of an innocent cry on the day of birth is a sound that the earth also rejoiced in. Just like when Christ was born, the heavens rejoiced, the earth rejoiced. When a baby is out and that cry, innocence is being announced in the earth. Innocence is announced in the atmosphere. Innocence is calling man back to consciousness. There is a kind of feeling of a human, the real human dignity that comes upon you when a child cries. And every time a child comes in contact with an adult, even if you are very wicked, you find yourself being disarmed because you look at the innocence of that child. Now, I am saying this so that we can see that it is a great privilege for one to hold a child, to hold a baby, because you are bringing in an atmosphere of peace, an atmosphere of serenity through the life of that child. And for the sake of that child, even families, couples that were thinking, okay, we can't stay together and all that, find themselves being united because of the baby. It's because there is a destiny in that life of a baby that heaven has positioned. And because God is using that to show to mankind that He is still there, He is still reaching out. And that is why we still have birth, we still have children. People are dying, but people are also being born. A generation is being born, another generation is about to be born. The earth is witnessing generational shift in every sector, in every area. You are so blessed at this moment to come to the place. If you are an expectant mother, you are blessed. If you are a nursing mother, you are blessed. So I'm talking to you at this moment so that you can begin to see and hear what heaven is saying. Don't take anything just lightly on the surface. As you are preparing for the birth of the child, as you are looking forward to the coming of this baby, I know that certain mothers give birth even under the shutdown and all that. The Lord still kept those children. The Lord is watching over them because God cares for the continuity of humanity. It's so important. He said we should multiply, we should fill the earth. And filling the earth is not just for you to feel children, just giving birth to them just like that. Oh, I have a child that's calling me mommy. No, you need to understand the mandate. You need to have a definition of what motherhood is from the place of God, from the perspective of God, from the angle of God, not just from the natural side. I know that I'm talking about the natural because birth and unbirth is natural. But nothing to you that knows that you have a purpose in life. You have an essence of what God is saying to you that is coming from the dwelling place of the Most High God, that you are one that is purposefully repositioned every season to bring forth what heaven has ordained for you. You will not just look at your conception as, I'm blessed, I'm going to be a mother. Yes, it's a blessing, but it has an assignment. That child has an assignment, you have an assignment, your husband has an assignment. That assignment is to fulfill God's will, to bring out what God's purpose is for the life of that child, for your family, so that at the end of the age, after everything is done and gone, you will still stand and the Lord will say, faithful and good servant, because you dare to persevere in His way, you dare to persevere in the way of righteousness, you dare to nurture, you dare to nurse, you dare to cherish, you dare to discipline and love, you dare to be there for your child. How will you do that? Where will you start from? You start from the cradle. You start from when that child is brought and put on your arms, and that child is brought close to your chest. And close to your chest means close to your breast, because the breast is on the chest. The breast is not on the head, it's not on the back. The breast is on the chest, where the heart is, where the pumping of your blood is flowing. That is where the breast is. The breast is positioned there to speak of God's kindness, of God's goodness, of God's continuity. That the breast milk that is needed for every human being to grow, that nutrient that an infant needs is there in the breast milk. The first sucking of that breast that the child will begin to have from the mother will give that child all the nutrients to activate all that need to be activated in the organs of that child and make that child grow well. The foundation of that child is being laid from the breast milk. Breastfeeding is so important, is so essential for human development. You cannot carry cow milk and give a human being and expect that human being to grow as a human being. Except in cases where a mother gives birth and the mother is gone, and then you have to buy milk and give the child. In olden days, it wasn't even like that. If the mother is not there and something happened, they will look for a nursing mother to nurse that child with the breast milk of human being. But in our own days, because of certain situations and all that, sometimes it's difficult, maybe ailment, it's difficult for a mother to breastfeed that child because you don't want to transfer to that child what will kill the child. So we have options in the market. And thank God that there are healthy options even for babies. But I am talking about directly, you have to go get cow milk to give your baby and all that. If you have breast milk, you'll not think of it. Why? Because the human being needs the human milk. And that human milk is in the mother. And that mother has every composition of the milk, of the nutrients, of the ingredients, of the supplements that child needs, and is connected to the destiny of that child. Is connected to the intelligence of that child. Is connected to the mannerism of what that child will exhibit as the child grows. The breast milk is not just something that I have breast milk. No. You need to talk to women who want to nurse their baby, but they cannot because of ailment. So when you have your breast milk flowing and you are nursing your child, you will nurse your child with joy, with appreciation, because you are bringing that child into the place of the completeness of what a human being ought to be. Let that child grow, develop properly, because you dare to give that child the breast milk that the child needs. And when Sarah got Isaac to the point of winning him, and Abraham did a great celebration, you can imagine the joy in the whole household of Abraham, because Isaac has been weaned, meaning Isaac has been given the fundamental nutrients, the fundamental attention. A foundation has been laid of goodness, of mercy, because when you cherish, you are transferring kindness, you are transferring mercy, you are transferring goodness, human kindness into the life of that child. And so Isaac has been nursed. Isaac, as he's been nursed, the mother maybe must have been singing to him, as most mothers do. When you're nursing the child, you're looking at the child is looking at you, you're speaking into the life of this child. Then you are telling the child, Jehovah is our God, we are covenant people, we are people of excellence, because our God is the God of excellence. Oh child, you are set aside, you will do well, you will grow in stature, in wisdom, in knowledge, in favor with God and man. Oh child, the God of Abraham, the God of Abraham is your God, that is your father. Oh child, the mom must have been saying things to this child that will bring that child to the place as a child properly positioned to soar, to grow, to go from one level to the next level of age. And so when the child was weaned, Abraham set a celebration, because now his child has a foundation, has a root. The child can now stand. The child can now move. The child can now relate as a human being. He has been given a proper setup, a proper kickstart. And so Abraham celebrated. I want you to also remember the story of Moses. When Moses was brought up when we brought out from the water from the river Nile, and Pharaoh's daughter took him in, the next person that had to come to nurse, God worked it in such a way that his own mother had to come back again to nurse her child, this time around being paid. Being paid. God has a way of paying every nursing mother. Don't worry, whatever thing you're going through right now, it will pay later. There is no labor that you're putting in that God does not see. Whatsoever thing you do it well, and you do it in the name of the Lord, not because you want your husband to appreciate you or your in-laws, or no, you are doing it in the name of the Lord. I tell you, there are blessings that accomplish or accompany everything that you do. Your tears, your pain, the fever you have to go through in breastfeeding. Sometimes you wonder, is this all that my life has become? Sitting down and breastfeeding, and these children, they know how to breastfeed, they know how to eat and eat and eat. And sometimes the mother goes through so much stress because life is coming out of you. It's life you are giving to the child. That is why Eve was called mother of all living. When you are a mother, you are a life giver. You are giving life. Giving life is not only when the child is born. But after the child is being born, life for life, life for life. Life is coming out from you and reaching out to this child. There's transferences of graces, of goodness that is coming out of you. And that is why your atmosphere is very important. Later on, I'm going to talk much more again about the different challenges and how to go about it. But I just want you to see that area of breastfeeding of Moses' mother to Moses made Moses most likely made Moses to know that I am a Hebrew, not an Egyptian. When mothers are feeding, they speak to the children, as I said earlier. So Moses' mother must have been talking to him. You are what? Hebrew. You are a Jew. You are not an Egyptian. Oh son, we are from the lineage of Abraham. You are not an Egyptian. So the mom, as she's breastfeeding, talking to the child. And in their times, they wean that child at 2 years. So when a child is being told, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who you are, you are drumming it into the ear of that child. You may think that the child is small, the child does not understand, but it is entering into the plate of his heart. And that's why it's very important what you say to children. Even from your womb, what you say to your child right from when the child is being formed in the womb is so important, because the child is human, the child can hear you. And Moses got to that point as his mom kept talking to him, and then weaned him, took him back to the household of Pharaoh. And you could see the result. He got to an age that he knew, I am not an Egyptian, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to fight for the Jews. I'm going to fight against slavery. I'm going to come out from the house of bondage and bring in my people to that place of liberty, to that place of life. But he wanted to do it in his own way. God brought him back to do it in God's own way. But he has a foundation. And it is that foundation that positioned him. Isaac had a foundation that positioned him. And then as he stood after being weaned, then there was a demarcation. The bondwoman child can no longer stay with this child. This child has been given a proper placement by God. And so this other child has to leave. The mother has to leave. It wasn't something that Abraham wanted to do, but because a mother has nursed her child properly and positioned that child, and a celebration had gone on, a separation of generation has to take place. Her child is a generation that is going to be that of God, living by promise, walking by promise. It's a sign of what will come to us in years after. And this other child is a sign of another covenant. These are two covenants. The covenant from the household of freedom and the household of bondage. These two covenants had to be separated. Two mothers brought forth two children. One is promised, one is not promised. And so you can see that in the book of Galatians chapter 4, from verse 21 to 30, that this covenant stood. We have Isaac, we have Ishmael. A mother that came from the place of God's promise will also bring forth children of promise. A nursing mother that is coming from the place of God's mercy and God's goodness and grace will bring forth that into the life of the child. And anything that is not of God in the life of that child will not remain in the life of that child. Peradventure, when that child grows up and gets to a particular point that the child decides to do what ought not to be as a child of God, I tell you, because you have nursed that child, given that child a foundation, that child will come back. So I'm not even just talking about training up a child so a child will not depart from the way of the Lord. That is correct. But I'm saying that it starts from somewhere. It started from the place of nursing. It started from the place of breastfeeding. It's from that place of giving life. Because when you give life to that child, you now begin to have influence more and more in the life of the child. Why? Because you dare to persevere to ensure that that child's life is giving life. It's different from every other mother who sees that, okay, this is trouble. I can't find myself breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not convenient. And all that. It will be convenient. Anything that is worth doing is not convenient. Anything that is worth doing, there is a price to be paid. Anything that worth life and that is going to have great influence and great impact is what? There is a price. There is a price to be paid. And in paying that price, at the end of it, what comes to get a crown? Because there is a blessing that will come at the end of the day. So I want to encourage every nursing mother to come into that spiritual positioning as you are in the natural, looking at the life of your child, or you're looking forward to the day of when you are going to give birth, when you will receive that child in your hand. I want you to begin to prepare your mind towards that day and know that it's a great day, and it's a day that will begin to usher you into another phase of motherhood, or usher you into true motherhood. Motherhood begins in the place where you understand your mandate as a mother, you understand what is the spiritual impact and what that impact will do to humanity, so that from here to the end of time, your life is set aside and you are walking towards that place that God has ordained. That generation of the mighty will come out through you. You can have sons that are called, these are godly seed, because a mother dare to pay a price, dare to let go what she wants for the life of a child. May the Lord God bless and keep you. And I know that His grace is sufficient to help you through every journey in life. Thank you for listening. I'm Pastor Kure. God bless you.